Puppy Love, Part 1. 1. I'm not crazy. 2. It's been a long time. And 3. I wasn't in the best emotional state, so let's get on with the story. I live in a moderate-sized city in a mountainous area. The kind of place you can go hiking and pay an arm and a leg for rent. Anyway, I'm yammering. On this shitty evening, I was enjoying one of my favorite pastimes, alcohol. As I drank my problems away, a gorgeous woman approached me. Short blonde hair, curves in all the right places. Something wasn't right, because she was interested in me. This may shock you, but stuff like this just doesn't happen. We talked for hours, my jokes were landing. Hell, we love some of the same horror movies. Kind of ironic now I think about it. Now, I'm not ugly. At least, I don't think so. Just a little awkward and dense. But she was way out of my league. I'd be damned if I didn't look at this gift horse in the right part. After talking, we went to my place. Several things happened. 1, my life-size Chucky doll scared the crap out of her. On top of the fridge isn't the best place for that. 2, we, cuddled. And 3, I don't know if like this. She turned into a goddamn werewolf and bit me. All things considered, I think I handled it pretty well. I treated my wounds, cried in the shower for 30 minutes, and went to bed. What, you expected me to call the cops? They'd ask me what kind of crack I was smoking. Despite being a mythical monster and biting the shit out of me, she wasn't the worst I've been with. She cleaned up my place while I was firmly grasping my sanity. Honestly, I thought it was a bad dream and I just had a great night with a neat freak. Of course, that didn't explain the scar, or the other one, or how fast it healed. It had been a week since the werewolf incident, and I was feeling kinda different. My senses were more sensitive, if that's how you want to put it. A lot of my neighbors need to take out their trash. Jeez, people, that shit is disgusting. I also heard a friend of mine sneeze from across an entire Walmart. Freaked him out when I texted "bless you." Now, my vision has always been good. However, now I can see fast-moving objects a lot easier. I'm sure the parents of that kid who I pulled from the path of a speeding car are grateful for it. It was awesome. A week later, it wasn't awesome. See, I was invited to a party in a town an hour away. Nothing but forest on either side for miles. I was pissed after driving all the way to just find out the party had been canceled. While making my way back, out of nowhere, some asshole in an SUV cut me off, and I nearly crashed. I pulled off to the side of the road, and I was so pissed. Without thinking, I grabbed a rock and pitched the greatest fastball of my life, shattering the rear window. I was satisfied until the car had stopped, and my heart dropped to my ass when it drove back to me. A mountain of a man stepped out the car. How the fuck do you fit in there? Was my only thought before the rear driver's side door opened. The man that stepped out was in his late 40s, a few wrinkles on his face, and slightly graying hair. He kind of reminded me of Will Ferrell. I mean, aside from his hair and eye color, he looked just like him. The two walked over to me. I'm gonna call them Will and Mountain since I never got their names. Will stepped forward and shook my hand. Hey there, seems like we've got a problem. Suddenly I was on the ground, a distinct taste of blood in my mouth, and Will leaning over me. Now, I understand my friend here was being reckless. He yelled the last words over his shoulder. However, you can't go breaking people's things. He helped me up as Mountain walked over. In the movies, you'd expect me to suddenly be an amazing fighter. This was not a movie. Mountain held me in place as Will did his best Rocky impersonation. My only thoughts at the moment were, where the hell are my werewolf powers? Will took that time to interrupt my thoughts. Now, I'm a fair guy, and I can tell you don't have the money to pay for my rear windshield. So what I'm gonna do is beat you until I feel you've learned your lesson. How's that sound? What an arrogant asshole. Now, if I was in my right mind, I would have accepted the punishment. But I wasn't in my right mind. I spat blood in Will's face, and Mountain threw me to the ground before stomping on the back of my head. Blood, dirt, and mucus covered my face. You know, there's one thing I hate above everything else. It's being disrespected. Will continued his rant while walking back over to me, dragging something with him as Mountain dragged me into the woods by my leg. We stopped moving, but the ringing in my ears didn't. Flipping over to my back, the full moon was the only thing I could focus on. Come on, werewolf powers, come on! I thought to myself. Will looked at me with a goofy smile on his face. He was laughing at me. I didn't think that. I said it. I said it out loud. Those were probably going to be my last words. A lot of emotions went through my head at the moment. Fear, confusion, remorse, and anger. Mostly anger. I was pissed. This is the textbook definition of an overreaction. I broke a window. I didn't kill his dog. You know what? Fuck this guy. Fuck his car, fuck his friends, and fuck werewolves. Something hit me in the face and I blacked out. When I came to, it was still dark, but I could see clearly. The area around me looked like a bomb went off. Several trees looked as if they lost a fight with the Hulk. I was covered in dirt and blood, and there was a weird breeze. Looking down, I found that the breeze was caused by me being naked. My body felt like it had been stretched, reshaped, and put back together by an angry toddler. By the grace of whatever deity is out there, I found my keys and wallet and 2 more sets of keys and 2 other wallets. I felt the smell of exhaust until I was back on the road. Will's SUV was still there, but no sign of him or Mountain. I may have helped myself to a duffel bag full of cash in the trunk while searching for something to cover myself with, but I got into my car and drove off in my naked glory. Oh, don't judge me, you read what happened.